नमस्कार। आप सभी लोग अपने अपने घरों पर कोविड-19 से बचने के उपायों को ध्यान में रखते हुए अपने आप को सेफ रख रहे होंगे। इसी आशा के साथ हम बात करते हैं अपने टॉपिक की। तो एज वी हैव जस्ट टॉक अबाउट स्टडी अबाउट द सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन मैकेनिज्म इन विच वी हैव टॉक अबाउट द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ दिस sex determination of the on the basis of the homozygosity and the heterozygosity, right? So let's move another topic that is most important one. Sometimes few questions can be asked from this topic, that is called pedigree analysis, right? First of all, we have to know what is this pedigree. Generally we can say it is a special type of analysis of the traits in several generations of the family tree. Generally we will get a different traits in any families which can be just found in over there. We can say in this analysis the inheritance of the particular trait is represented in the family tree over the generation. Means which kind of trait can be completely transferred from one generation to another generation. With the help of this we can recognize the different characteristics which can be found over there, right? And it is also important tool for the studying of the human inherited diseases. Means especially this pedigree analysis can always helpful for to understand, to know about the different diseases of any families, right? Which can be very important for the human beings point of view. Evenly we can say if the different diseases which are found in different times, especially they may be dominant, they may be recessive, they may be chromosomal, they may be genetic one. So it can be always helpful for to provide such things. Evenly we can say the pedigree study provides a strong tools in human genetics which can be utilized to retrace the inheritance of the specific trait abnormalities of the disease, as I have told you, right? Evenly the pedigree analysis is performed for the human population because the Mendel monohybrid and dihybrid cross with pure line are not possible in human one. Means generally the cross which can be done by the Mendel, they cannot be done, cannot be applied on the human beings. For that we have to not understandable for all those things. But there is a question asked about that why do the pedigrees, right? Sometimes whenever we just hear that pedigree means it is a food of the animals. No, we are not talking about that one. We are talking about the genetic inheritance through which we can capable to understand the different diseases from one parent to another, their offsprings, and one generation to another generations, right? For that's why we have to need this pedigree. We can say with the help of these pedigrees the Punnett square and the T-square test works well for the organism, and that have to large number of the offsprings and control the mating, but human are quite different, right? Evenly we can say the small families, even a large human families have 20 or few ever more than 20 children are over there. Evenly we can say the uncontrolled mating often with the heterozygous and failure of the truthful identification of the parentage. So we can say especially individuals may wish to be tested if there is a family history of one specific diseases. If you get with the help of this pedigree we can analyze all these things, right? If we can say a family history of one specific diseases, they show the symptoms of the genetic disorders, they are concerned about the passing one genetic problem to the their children, right? For the pedigree analysis we have to need some specific type of symbols, right? In which as you can see especially in that the square, that is a male which is unaffected. If square is color dark in color, right, in that condition we can it is a affected male. If a circle is without color, that is known as the female, and it is circled in that condition we can it is a affected female. If a pentagon is another symbols which can you seen over there, that can be always denoted the sex unspecified or unknown sex one. If another structure that is seen, it may be shown as a dead one. But if we talk about the such symbols like this one, like means where male and female are attaching with single line, we can say they are the mating process over there. If there is a double line, right, in that we can say the mating is between the relatives, right? This consanguineous mating means that it can be seen in between the mating between them evenly. On the other hand, if the next one, this third one, we can say here as you can the offspring route point to be proband, or you can say the parent with male child affected with diseases, or evenly it is a female child or it is a female child, means these are the parents one and their children are the affected by the over there. So these are different symbols which can be utilized into the pedigree analysis. So if we can say about this particular type of crossing between these organisms, only instead of that there is some other more uh, Roman numeral symbols which can be always show the different generations. If the Arabic symbols, they can be birth order within the each generations can be shown with the help of then. If we can talk about the analysis, how it can help us, generally we can say it can be always helpful for to predicate the possible genotype by the knowing the phenotypic only, means if we can know the phenotypic characters, with the help of the characters we will get to explain the genotypic predicted genotypic characters one, and we can say it help to study the patterns of the inheritance of a specific traits and abnormalities or disease, and whether it is a dominant or it is recessive, or we can say the possible genetic makeup of the persons for a trait can be also known with the help of this pedigree analysis. This pedigree analysis can always provide the possible genetic makeup of the person for the trait which are known. Evenly, it can also help the genetic counselors to advise the couple about the possibilities of the having genetically defective children also. Evenly, it can also help that in some certain cases it may be help to identify the genotype types of the offspring yet to be born, means before born we can analyze their characters with the help of this pedigree analysis. And this pedigree analysis can also help to identify the possible origin of the defective genes in families or in a populations. So with the help of this we can understand so many things. Evenly, the categories of inheritance means we can on the basis of this pedigree analysis they can be categorized in different characters. Evenly, we can say they may be the autosomal, means the inherited, means generally what are autosomal, we can say it means that inherited one chromosome, right, 1 to 22 means all the autosomes, while the sex linked means inherited one either X or Y chromosome, means if we can talk about the autosomal it means that there is only autosomes chromosomes. If we can talk about the sex linked it will always related to the X or Y chromosomes. So first of all, if we talk about the autosomal recessive, especially their diseases are found phenylketonuria and albinism. Autosomal dominant, in which we can say Huntington's diseases, as I will told you in letters. And if we talk about X-linked disease, right, especially we can say these alleles are found only in the X chromosome, right, can be in male or can be in female, means those characters are found only in the X chromosome, even in the male or even in the female, as in the color blindness and the hemophilia, right. On the other hand, we can say X-linked dominant, right, especially with the help of X-linked dominant we have to know that these alleles are found on the X chromosome, can be male or females, means while we are talking the X-linked recessive or X-linked dominant, in both cases the that alleles are found in the X chromosomes. On the other hand, we can talk the Y-linked, especially in case of the Y-linked genes, we can say that these alleles are found only on the Y chromosomes and these can be only into the male organisms, right. Suppose if we talk about the autosomal recessive pedigrees, right, sometimes these examples can be shown over there, as here you can see the their Roman numbers and numeric numbers are found over there, means the Roman number they are showing the stages, then this is the first stage, this is the second stage, this is the third stage, and the number of they are showing the different children, like means this is a one male second female, and the same way their generations means this is the first generation, second generation, right, and the third one, fourth one, and fifth one, right, means that these are different generations which can be easy to understand about these generations. Okay, so first of all we have to know about the autosomal recessive. What about this autosomal recessive? Generally we can say this trait is rare in the pedigree, and trait often skip generation, means it can be always heterozygous carriers, or we can say the trait affected male and female equally. As we can say, it may be affected both in male as well as into the female, both one. So we can say generally it can be diseases like the sickle cell anemia, phenylketonuria. They are can be always show the autosomal recessive. If we can talk about the autosomal dominant pedigrees, in that pedigrees we, as you have seen, in that particular conditions the trait common in pedigree and trait is found in every generations, means you can see in the this trait is found in each and every generation. Evenly we can say the affected individuals also transmit the trait to about half of their children, मीन्स जितने भी आपके पेरेंट्स होंगे वो अपने आधे चिल्ड्रंस में कम से कम इसको ट्रांसफ़र कर ही देते हैं. एज यू जस्ट सीन in the first diagram, suppose these are the parent which are affected, so 1 2 3 and 4, there are 4 offsprings of these pairs, so they can, you can see to half number of organisms, half number of daughter cells are affected over there, and right, so we can say it can be the characters of the autosomal dominant. Evenly there are few autosomal dominant have human disease, but some are rare which can be inherited pattern 1. So as you all have known about a disease that is called skeletal disease like dwarfism, Harrington's, such type of thing, it is known as autosomal dominant, right, as you can see in this diagram, means generally in such conditions the dwarfism can be seen over there. And if we talk about the X-linked recessive pedigree, you can just see here that especially if we talk about X-linked pedigree recessive, it means that the chromosome which is arising from over here, means X's and X's are the carriers, but female is normal one. So whenever you can just see over there all the females, right, you can just see all the organisms are found over there, they are unaffected over there, right. It means that generally in all those cases here is no one is affected in this first generation, but after that when this male is affected, because one X is carrier over there, it is reacted to the another person who may be affected or carrier, right, so he can be just get the disease over there in the both of cases. So we can understand about with the help of this one, means we can say suppose the trait skip generations, means affected father do not passes to their sons, means this characters is not passed directly from here to here, here to here, right, even not in daughter also, but we can say male are more often affected than the females here, right, and females are carriers, so passed from this disease can be always passes from the mother to the their son, that is known as the X-linked recessive pedigree. If we talk about X-linked dominant pedigree, right, it means that in that particular conditions you can see, it can also seen commonly in which you can see with the help of easily through this pedigree that the affected fathers pass to all their daughters. If the father is affected, it can be passed to all their daughters, but if the male and female are equally likely to be affected, in case suppose in that particular conditions the X-linked dominant disease are extremely unusual, right, so this is not so common. Then we have to come on the Y-linked inheritance. Generally this trait which can be always on the Y chromosomes are only found in male, never in female, because Y chromosome is infected, means the disease can be transferred due to the Y chromosomes. This disease never be occurs into the females one, so we can easily understand that this Y-linked inheritance disease can be transferred over there, or we can say the dominance is the irrelevant, there is only one copy of Y-linked genes is homozygous in conditions, So these diseases can be found over there. So I think everybody understand about this one. Evenly, there's another thing, especially as I'm talking about the autosomal dominant traits. It can be because of the in the dwarfism in conditions. The Harringtons, as I told you, they are also the examples, right? Autosomal. Then X-linked recessive, especially in which the father, right, and the father does not affected to their sons with the help of the diseases. And X-linked recessive, generally you all have find that this disease is always transferred from the mother, right? Male are more often affected than the females. Why it will happen? Especially as we all know, the female is carrier of this disease. So the chances of like hemophilia, it is X-linked recessive disease, right? So this way, these are different diseases which can be analyzed with the help of the pedigree analysis. So students, tomorrow we will talk about the different Mendelian disorders and the chromosomal disorders, means the different human genetic disorders through which we will understand about this pedigree also. But still you have to just try to understand and try to make your notes with related to this pedigree analysis. Thank you.